Hello, I'm Louise Carroll, and I'm the Commissioner for the New York City Department of Housing Preservation and Development. The pandemic over the past few months has affected our lives immensely. It has put businesses on pause while shutting others. It has created massive unemployment where many people in the city and throughout the country are not able to make ends meet. It has exposed deep social injustice, and this has created great unrest. In addition, it has established new protocols for how we work and how we interact with each other, which is why I'm speaking to you via the web as opposed to us meeting in person as we would normally do. Through it all, this housing community and my agency never let up on the critical work of helping New Yorkers find safe, affordable housing. And for that, I am tremendously grateful to the entire HPD team and to you, our housing community. At the height of the pandemic, when most people were spending more time at home than ever before, our code enforcement team stepped out every day to make sure that New Yorkers had heat, hot water, and safe living conditions. We also launched our revamped Housing Connect system to make it even easier for New Yorkers to find safe, quality, affordable housing. We stayed responsive to the urgent needs on the ground by moving more families out of shelter into permanent, stable housing. We helped our partners keep construction moving by finding a definition of essential construction that would allow our projects to move safely through the construction cycle to TCO and into our marketing pipeline. We also delivered food and air conditioners to vulnerable seniors and helped keep New Yorkers in their homes by assisting initiatives like Project Parachute. We finalized the Cities Where We Live plan, a blueprint for the future of fair housing in New York City, making sure to account for the deeply embedded social and economic inequities exacerbated by COVID-19. Even in this time of financial hardship, the city has been advancing its robust pipeline of affordable housing because we know it will be critical to stabilizing New Yorkers and their communities and stimulating an economic recovery. And while we work behind the scenes to restore that capital, you all, especially the New York Housing Conference, launched a public campaign to secure additional resources. The crisis of need became more urgent with COVID-19, but now, thanks to our joint efforts, we have $466 million restored to our capital budget. We will use it to sharpen our focus on the most vulnerable New Yorkers and on achieving greater racial equity and inclusion. Going forward, the following are our capital spending priorities. The pandemic has been hardest on seniors and New Yorkers facing homelessness. That is why we're committed to producing new affordable housing where seniors can age safely and where vulnerable New Yorkers can access critical services. We must deepen the affordability of the housing we produce and create more affordable neighborhoods. The pandemic has quadrupled the unemployment rate in New York City, and many New Yorkers face uncertainty about whether or not they will be able to afford the rent. Creating a city that New Yorkers can afford in this time of economic hardship requires more housing for low-income households. This is why, going forward, at least 50% of all our newly financed units will be for extremely low and low-income New Yorkers. In addition, we intend to use our capital to promote healthy, equitable housing. Mold, poor indoor air quality, and lack of exercise can worsen underlying health conditions and increase COVID-19 risks. Lack of broadband access can prevent residents from utilizing online learning and emergency services, as well as making it impossible for parents to work from home. We are updating our design guidelines to introduce new recommendations to facilitate broadband access, improve indoor air quality, increase access to cooling and outdoor space, and reduce the risk of spreading contagions. Also, Our MWBEs and not-for-profit partners have deep roots in the communities that we serve. That is why we intend to sharpen our focus and our partnership with these groups in order to improve the lives of our affordable housing community. The need to advance economic equity and equitable ownership models has never been clearer. As we continue to increase the number of MWBs and not-for-profits who build affordable housing with HPD, we want to make sure that we help grow their financial capacity. That is why, on public sites that we award for affordable housing development, we will require that teams have a not-for-profit or MWBE partner that owns at least 25% of the project and has at least 25% of the beneficial interest. Keeping New Yorkers in their homes and stabilizing properties in distress will continue to be a priority for HPD. In this moment of crisis, when tenants aren't able to pay their rents, landlords will have difficulty maintaining properties. That is why going forward, we will focus our preservation work on buildings with the greatest physical and financial needs. To ensure an equitable economic recovery, we must strengthen neighborhoods that have experienced historic disinvestment and discrimination. Many of these neighborhoods have also been hardest hit by COVID-19. How are we going to do this? We're going to prioritize mixed-use placemaking projects that not only bring affordable housing, but have amenities such as grocery stores, recreational space, and retail. Projects that generate jobs and help communities thrive. Ultimately, we have the capacity and the determination to take Housing New York to the finish line. We will do so in a way that champions the needs of our most vulnerable neighbors, confronts the underlying drivers of inequality that have exposed so many of them to heightened risk during this crisis. Thank you to all our affordable housing partners for standing with us. Without you, we could not do this critical work. Thank you for proving through this crisis that we are stronger together.